What is going on, everyone, and welcome to r/EntitledParents. Now, in today's first Entitled Parents story, a customer at a store accuses another customer of stealing groceries, when in reality, they're shopping and they just paid like any normal person. Before we get into that though, if you are new around here, please consider subscribing to my channel. It is completely free, you'll love what you see, and I'm trying to hit 600,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. So yeah, if you're new around here, subscribe, you won't regret it. Let's get into the first story. A customer followed me to my car, accusing me of stealing my unbagged groceries. I'm in Aldi after a long day of numerous events. One being working overnight and essentially having been awake for more than 24 hours, and I'm filling up a cart with needed items for the house. I'm at the register and realised that the bag of tortilla chips I grabbed is primarily smashed. I talked to the cashier about him scanning that bag and then allowing me to head back into the very small aisle section of the store to get a lesser crunched bag. He agrees. I pay for my groceries and my daughter immediately takes my receipts. Before I head back into the aisle section of the store, I ask the cashier if I need to confirm with him that I got the bag before heading out of the store, and he says no, it will be fine. I grab my lesser crunched bag of chips. I make my way across the front end and through an empty register with my cart full of groceries and my two young children. I do not bother the cashier I had, nor do I bother the other one at another register. I was told it was fine to just leave, so I just left. I'm outside of the store and the wind is picking up pretty good. There's a storm coming. It's about 3 o'clock and it's dark out and the parking lot lights are on. This is going to be a wicked downpour. I get my kids and my shopping cart to my car. I put my kids in first and then start putting my groceries into the reusable bags that I'd left in my car. For those not familiar with Aldi, they charge you for bags or you can bring your own or walk out with no bags or use boxes. It's all up to you. I'm finishing up and a woman, another customer, pops up out of what seems like nowhere. "I will gladly help you pay for those groceries that you just put in your car," she says, "but you need to come back inside with me right now. They are going to press charges. I'm trying to help you. They are reviewing the camera footage. They are calling the police. They know you stole those groceries." She goes on saying stuff of this nature for a few minutes, and I'm completely shocked at what's coming out of her mouth. I'm floored. I did what? So I say to her that I paid for my groceries, but she insists that she watched me walk through an empty register with my full cart and walked out of the store. And well, that's because at that moment that she tuned into my shopping trip, I did do just what she said. I tell her again that I paid for my groceries, and she asked me for my receipts, which I cannot produce because I assume my daughter must have let it go on accident when the major gust started, and the wind took it along with her mask that she had been wearing. Yes, I feel awful for littering a mask via the gusting wind. She will not stop accusing me long enough for me to get more than "the guy with the spider tattoo" or "I already paid for them" out of my mouth. I finally snap at her and say if you could be quiet for just a few minutes, I could explain. She tells me that I don't need to explain. She saw me and they are going to press charges and she's just trying to help me. I'm getting angry, and my umbrella that I had taken out to use to return my shopping cart to the store started malfunctioning. I don't know if she thought I was waving at her, but she starts saying, "Okay, I believe you. I will go inside and tell them you didn't steal them. You can leave." I'm furious at this point, and drenched, and also really concerned that the police actually were called. So I get in my car and drive me and my kids to a parking spot closer to the front of the store. I take my children out of their seats and carry them both into the store during the downpour to confirm with the cashier that he remembered me, and that he remembered the chip agreement. He said very loudly, "Yes." To which I responded, "This lady," she made it back inside right after me, "said that you guys were watching the camera and think I stole them. I was just checking that you remember me." The customer then starts to say, "I didn't say," and then her voice trails off. Or I block her out, I don't know. I start towards the exit for the second time. My daughter says to me, "Mummy, you got me all wet. Why?" My response, because sometimes people just can't mind their own business. Update, I found my receipt during my ride home. My daughter had put it in her little purse she had with her in the grocery store before we had walked outside in the wind. Well, Karen, I've just got one question for you. Why is that any of your business? I mean, you don't know this person. They're just another customer like you, and you don't know what's happened before you've seen them. I mean, come on. It's not that hard to, think/consider that obviously there have been events that have happened before you've gone into the store and seen them with your own eyes. It's not that hard to comprehend that, yes, maybe there has been an agreement with the cashier to just go and swap an item out. I mean, that happens quite a lot of the time, right? You're queuing to get rid of or check out all your items from a store, then you realize that one of them is, a little bit defect, or you want a different version or something, and you just say to them, can I go and swap it? And they're like, yeah, you know what, mate, that's absolutely fine. So I don't know why you got your neck involved, to be honest, Karen. It was a waste of time. That's all I can say. And also, why is she making up a load of rubbish? Like, I'm just trying to help you. They're calling the police. We all know that's not true. We all know you're just getting involved because you want to be. And you're nosy. Do you not think, guys? If you disagree with me, comment down below. Do you reckon Karen was actually being a good person? I don't. I think she was just getting her head involved when it didn't really need to be. What do you think, though? Comment down below. I'm interested. Now moving on to our second story. Dad thinks he's entitled to tell you when to stop eating. My dad has severe control issues around food. He must always eat more or have a bigger portion than everyone else. He sometimes takes smaller portions to be self-righteous, but then goes and eats a second meal or course that no one else is allowed to eat. He also tried to say when you should stop eating, which always has to be before him, even if he's already eaten and you haven't. There is nothing worse than when you've skipped lunch and you found out that Dad had a big afternoon snack, because that means dinner is going to suck butts. His controlling behaviour has given me food issues, where I hoard food and binge because I'm scared he's going to take my food away. I'm also overweight and fat. I've recently moved out, and one of the big perks is I have a healthier relationship with food. I binge less and eat less in general, but I'm mostly not consumed by thoughts of food 24/7 like I used to be. This Christmas was actually the first Christmas I didn't binge chocolate before and after dinner. I ate reasonable amounts, but it's still Christmas. Everyone except Dad was telling me how they think I've lost weight. Yay! I left feeling good about myself. Enter my dad. He called my home today to fix my sink. As he was leaving, he sat me down and went through all of the food I ate at Christmas and told me how much less of each item I should have eaten. I tell him to stop, as him controlling my food will trigger me for a binging episode. He continues. I explain again. He tells me though my binging is only hurting me. I tell him I know, but he needs to stop. I also mention how freaking creepy it is for him to watch me eat and count what I eat during Christmas. He tells me that is as right as my father, and anytime we have meals together, he's going to be watching and counting. Other things he has done are 1. Look through my trash to see what I'm eating in my own home that he does not live in. 2. Question what I've ate every day. And 3. Offer to order my groceries online for me so I don't have to go to shops during COVID. He then edited my shopping list to meet his standards. However, I am slowly gaining more control over food in my life, and I feel so free. Jesus, what a horrible person. Do you reckon this dad ever thinks he stops for 1 second, he thinks to himself, I wonder why my child has such, severe eating disorders, like needing to binge, being overweight. I wonder why that could be. Could it possibly be because of me? No, it can't be that. It must be other people, because I'm being nice to my child. I'm looking out for everything that OP eats, just to make sure they don't get too fat. I don't know. It's just like a strange one. Surely these people have to look at themselves at some point and think, maybe my actions are actually causing these dramatic ramifications. Who knows? I just think this dad is stupid. Like, how controlling, how weird of a person to be to even try and control your kid's food in the first place. Let alone when they say to you, please stop, you are the reason that I have trouble with my food and eating in general. Then just carry on and say, no, it's my responsibility as your father. Strange bloke. Yeah, pretty much I would just say, get away from this man as quickly as you can, OP. Who cares if he's your father or not? Get him out of your life. Now moving on to our final story. My cousin sued her own sister. My great-grandaunt died of COVID in the beginning of 2020. It's been a huge blow for the entire family, especially her 2 daughters. The drama between them came to a head when her will was read out. She left both of her daughters 1.5 acres each of land that she owned out in Louisiana, but she left her house to her oldest daughter. That house is a family staple. It was the house my great-grandaunt lived in when she moved from Louisiana to Washington to be with someone she loved. It was where she celebrated Christmas Eve and Thanksgiving. It made sense that the oldest daughter got the house, since she was already living there to begin with. Not to mention, the younger daughter already had a house, one where she just renovated the basement and put a brand new deck in the front. She didn't need the house at all. But my cousin didn't see it that way. So she felt the need to sue her older sister for the rights to the house. She even got her daughter and her niece to turn against her own sister. Her reasons for wanting the house are pretty selfish in my opinion. Her main take for wanting the house was so that she could rent it out to other people, not even a week before my great-grandaunt died. She said to her face that making money off the house was going to be her plan. Everyone in my family was so angry, to the point where they all announced that they weren't coming to her wedding, and the ones that were coming would be sitting on the groom's side. Her fiancé was actually a nice guy. You may think that that might be a little harsh, but my cousin honestly deserved it. For someone to say that they would claim their mother's house when she dies to her face is nasty. Because of all that backlash she was getting, she ended up dropping the lawsuit and apologised to her sister. On top of that, the wedding was cancelled. I could talk about this for hours, because this situation goes deeper and deeper. I tried to keep it as brief as possible. I just hope that my family gets better after all that's happened. I tell you what, that is a pretty bad thing to do, right? Say to your dying relative that, you know what, even if you don't put your house in my name, this is what I would plan to do with it. I would sell it out, you know? I wouldn't even live in it myself, wouldn't even honour it, just rent it out to random people. And if you put it in my sister's name, I'm going to sue the heck out of her, ruin her life. I don't care about you, great, whatever you are. I mean, I don't even know what your name is. That's how little I care. It just doesn't matter to me. I want to make money off of your land. Pretty crazy thing to say to someone that is dying in literally a week. I also wonder why the wedding was cancelled. I hope it was cancelled because the fiancé, the nice guy, realised that he would be marrying a monster, and not that you realised, or whoever this is realised that, yeah, people aren't going to be sitting on my side at the wedding. Let's just give it a bit of time and then they will. I really hope that the fiancé was like, you know what, after this entire debacle, you're gone. You're gone, mate. Let me get someone else, because you are not good enough for me, because you are a disgusting human being. Because, let's be honest, to do something like that, you would have to be a pretty disgusting human being. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of Entitled Parents. I really hope you have loved it. If you did, drop a like to show me you've enjoyed it. Comment down below your opinions on these stories. And if you are new around here, make sure you are subscribed for daily Reddit content. I've only got a couple of days left of December, but you know, I am posting twice every single day in the rest of 2020. Do you want some more right away? Wow! There it is. And finally, if you want some merch as well, that is the best way to support me, and it's great clothing. So yeah, check that out down here as well. All right, guys, see you later on today with a brand new video.